I hope you're loving taxation is theft fest. You guys, I'm having a great time this morning, leading into this afternoon. If anything, it's kind of been entertaining watching some of the challenges we've had coming through the interwebs. Tis the joy of doing these events online, right? There's a lot of variables. It's not really that different than a live event where you're live and in person. There's a lot of variables that we're dealing with. So we're gonna get through it though, and I'm real excited to bring up our next guest after reading through what he is going to be talking about with us. I became very intrigued, so I will be paying close attention in the wings here. Peymon basically coming in to talk to us about becoming free from the IRS slavery system. Peymon is a founder and president of Freedom Law School that he founded back in 1996. Peymon has not filed or paid income tax for 30 years by following the strict language of the law, and has many people has helped many people do the same. Are you personally ready to become free of the IRS slavery system? No, I am. Let's bring Peymon up and see what he has to say to us. Welcome to the show, Peymon. Very curious to hear about how you made it work for you and for others to break away from that slavery system that we're all so enshrined in. So the screen is yours.
Thank you. Well, folks, as you know, my name is Peymon Mottahedeh. I'm the founder and president of Freedom Law School that I founded in 1996. I come from Iran of Jewish descent, came to land of the free, home of the brave, so I was told. And I found out it's not a free country. I joined the Libertarian Party in 1989 as soon as I became a U.S. citizen at the age of 27. In 1992, I heard income tax is a fraud, a lie, that you are not required to file an income tax. I've not filed an income tax for 30 years. IRS well knows about me. Freedom Law School, I am the biggest figure in a tax honesty movement, exposing the fact that no law requires you, my friends, to file and pay income tax. I know it's incredible to hear that. I know your head gaskets are blowing. How could it be? I'll go to jail if I don't file and pay income tax. I will disabuse you of all that brainwashing of decades, hopefully as best as I can, in this short time frame that I have. So let's go to the presentation. I'm going to show it to you, but I want you first know this, okay? I'm going to warn you, once the bell is rung, it can never be unrung. Once you take the red pill, which I'm about to give you, the illusion can never be restored. Once you enter the reality zone, which I'm about to take you to, you can never return to Twilight Zone from which you came. So here we go, folks. Let's go for the ride together. First of all, I want you to know that for over 20 years, I've had this, three $100,000 income tax rewards that no IRS agent, employee, lawyer, or judge has ever attempted to claim it. Never. Not one. The first 100,000 is for anybody that can show me the law or statute written by Congress of the United States requiring the average American to file income tax, confession form, misnamed return, and pay an income tax. 2, show how Americans can file an income tax confession form, misnamed return, without giving up their Fifth Amendment right to be silent, not to give any information to the government that may be used to prosecute them. Because guess what? In every criminal tax prosecution, your 1040 income tax form is blown up big in front of the jury, and they use all that information against you. That's what they do. So how can you fill out a 1040 form, that confession form under oath, and not be used against you? It always used against you. It's like giving up your right to free speech, right to press, right to have religions of your faith, Well, you don't have to give those rights up to pay for anything else, right? Why do you have to give up your right to be silent when it comes to taxes? You don't, because no law requires you to do that in the first place. Third, folks, the other 100,000 for anybody that can prove to me that the 16th Amendment or change to the Constitution of the United States, which according to the IRS and modern courts permitted the income tax to exist, was lawfully added to the United States Constitution. Now, this three rewards were based upon the book written by my most famous student that you will hear this weekend from, a former gun-carrying IRS special agent with the IRS's Criminal Investigation Division. His job, Joe Bannister, was to put people in prison for not having filed and paid income taxes. And what happened, folks? Joe contacted me in 1997, heard about the income tax being a fraud, and I educated him. He wrote a book in 1999 that Freedom Law School distributed, put it out there. He gave it to the IRS to refute. They could never refute him. And debates were set up between him and the IRS and the government lawyers in the Department of Injustice. In D.C., he flew from California to D.C. to meet with these guys many times. They never show up. They never send one government lawyer, one employee to show their former gun-carrying criminal agent, hey, here's the law you missed. That's the law that requires all Americans to file and pay income tax. They never did that, okay? So these are three things in his book were written, and the reward was based upon his book that, that I have it on there. Let's go now. Let's look at your 1040 forms, folks. When you fill out a 1040 form, here you have to be signed at the end of it. And what does it say? Under penalties of perjury. Under penalties of perjury. What is that? It's a tiny line. I love the first few words for you to read, but this tiny font. You can't read it. You don't understand it. You just sign on the dotted line because they tell you to. You think you have to. Yes. And when you do that, you put the rope literally around your own neck and hand it to the IRS on the ledger. Anytime you want to put me in jail, IRS, pull on it, pick on me on the lottery, and have me be the guy you try to put in jail. Because that's exactly what they do. Do you know what penalty of perjury mean? No, you don't know what that means. Well, folks, when you sign the form, you're saying that on the penalty of perjury under oath, you swear to it, like before a jury and a judge, that everything on it is true, correct, and complete. True, correct, and complete in every way. In other words, you understand this Internal Revenue Code. This is the federal tax laws right here. It's my copy, personal copy, okay? You understand all these tax laws, right? Look at all this toilet paper thin stuff, right? These tiny font laws. You understand it, read it, know how it applies to you in every way, and it's completely by the book. True, correct, and complete in every way. And if you don't, you're telling the IRS, put me in prison. That's what you're doing. You're telling the IRS, if it's not in every way true, correct, and complete, go ahead. Put me in prison. Because I don't understand it. I don't understand this Internal Revenue Code, the tax laws. I just signed a form because I thought I had to. There's a law requiring me to. And if I don't, I'll go to jail. That's why I filed it, because I'll go to prison if I don't fill it out. So I just signed it there. Don't understand it. TurboTax did it for me. The accountant, CPA did it for me. You know, the tax lawyer did it for me. And so I just did it. But guess what? When you do that, you're greasing your way to prison, my friend. Okay, I'm going to show you how that works. I'm going to disabuse you of this myth that if you file 1040, if you stop filing, you're going to go to prison. It's a big lie that when you stop filing, you go to prison. I'm going to show it to you right now. Let's go to Freedom Law School's website. Everybody at livefreenow.org. If you want to live free, this is a website you want to go. livefreenow.org, Freedom Law School's website. Then what you do, go under Education Materials tab. drop down to the first item, the eye-opening education. And when they click on the eye-opening education, folks, it'll take you to this page. Here, what does it say? Folks, your odds, okay, of being sent to prison for not filing 1040 income tax confession forms are lower than your odds of being struck by lightning. Yes. As amazing as that sounds, I'll show it to you. I'll prove it to you. The enemy doesn't want you to know how strong you are by the law and how weak they are. They want you to believe that the IRS is this all-powerful, omnipresent, all-intelligent, organized entity that if you stop filing those 1040 income tax confession forms, you're going to go to prison. Folks, this is no different than the movie Matrix. When Morpheus on top of the building in the movie Matrix was going to jump over to the other side on the other tall building about 300 yards away. And before he did that, he turned to Neo and said, "Free your mind." Before he jumped over. Remember that scene? You ought to watch it again. Because I'm going to do that right now. I'll show you how free your mind if you let me. Okay? So let's go back to the presentation. Folks, the odds of a prison sentence for failure to file a tax return charges is 1 in 1.3 million. And odds of being struck by lightning are 1 in 2 million. Yes. Okay? And why is that? Well, let's go back to the, here's the thing, folks. The reason is this, folks, because the actions that are most likely to land you in jail on income tax are 3 easy steps. Number 1, file a 1040 income tax confession form, misnamed a return, with the IRS under penalties of perjury, under oath, like jury and judge, right? I showed you right here again. Under penalties of perjury, oath, which means throw me in prison if everything on this page is not true, correct, or complete, right? Then number 2, pay what you think you owe on it. Yeah, pay, go ahead. Pay what you think you owe, and then all I have to do is wait. Wait for the IRS to pick on your 1040 income tax confession form, disagree with your confession, and charge you criminally. Now, I think I'm exaggerating. I'm kidding. I'm not. Watch. This is a picture you see on the right of you of a picture of a U.S. tax court judge, Judge Krupa. Okay? Right? She went to prison because for what? For filing 1040 tax confession forms for 10 years. Okay? She filed. The 3 easy steps above is exactly what this former U.S. tax court judge, Diane Krupa, took. She went to prison for religiously filing and paying her 1040 tax forms every year. Yet, when the IRS came after her, Judge Krupa, who's supposed to know tax, who's authority in tax law, ruled on it every day against the government and the people, did not even try to put up a defense and go to trial. Instead, she pled guilty to reduce her potential tax sentence, which was over 10, close to 20 years. She could have gone to prison. That's right, over 20 years she could have gone to prison, reduce it to only 34 months. Now, this is not made up stuff, folks. You can click on this stuff you see right here. Here's a click on the Forbes article, April 2016, about her, Judge Krupa going to prison. Okay, I'm not making this stuff up. You can also go down to a local CBS News story about it, okay? So, for those of you watching this program, guess what? I bet you most of you have already taken the first 2 steps. Just keep taking the first 2 steps. File and pay every year like Judge Krupa, and then wait. And wait. And wait some more. And be nervous. Because you just might be as lucky as Judge Krupa and get yourself sentenced to prison like Judge Krupa. Yep. And I tell you what, this works especially well if you're a small business owner, commissioned salesperson, independent contractor, or professional who has a lot of business expenses and deductions to keep track of and do not have withholding from your paycheck. Every single one of you who's a small business owner, commissioned sales agent, independent contractor, you all are cheating on your tax forms, ready to go to jail like Judge Cooper. Every single one of you. I've had people tell me that, oh, I got a great accountant, knows this stuff, you know, he's a good Jewish accountant. And I pay only $5,000 a year in income tax. How much you make? Oh, I make about $100,000. No way, Jose. You could not pay so little without cheating. Folks, even Judge Krupa, who ruled on this income tax laws, authority couldn't defend. You would not even defend it. Wouldn't go to trial. Taco TurboTax, your bookkeeper, accountant, CPA, or tax lawyer, better than Judge Krupa to defend you. How? See, you never thought about that. Okay, let's go on, folks, to the presentation. Okay, now I'm going to show you now some more from the presentation. We're going to switch on to the presentation. Okay, here we go. This is from the IRS's own website, irs.gov. By the way, this information no longer is there. They took it out. They took it out of their website. But I know how to get it from the Wayback Machine. This IRS total criminal cases that put people in jail in all categories for years 2014, 15, and 16, right? Total convictions, the highlighted yellow line for 2014 was about 3,100. 2015 about 2,900, and 2016 about 2,700. This is on all categories for everybody. Look at the bottom part. The bottom part, folks, wasn't there. I took this different stuff, parts of the matrix of lies, put them here for you to compare and see, right? So you can see it. And guess what? IRS no longer has this information on the website. Give me our Freedom Catalog, guys. I'm going to show it to them because Freedom Law has been putting this stuff out there for you to see, and they found out. So I took this information out of the website so you cannot find it, but I have it right here. Look at the second part, folks, okay? So, okay, here we go. This is criminal investigation non-file initiative of the IRS, okay? In the same years of 14, 15, 16, folks, look at this. They, in 2014, had only 192 convictions for non-filers. In 2015, went down to 167. 2016 went down some more to 159. So guess what? How many filers went to jail? Well, take, for example, your 2016, this 2,672 number from 159 for non-filers, and you see over 2,500 filers went to prison, were convicted. I've not actually not even go to prison. They got convicted. Whereas only 159 non-filers, that's about 15 times more filers went to jail, convicted of tax crime, than non-filers. Look at that. You just cannot swallow these numbers because it blows you away. You can't believe that, okay? Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, Peymon, that's easy. The reason is because most everybody files income tax returns, right? That's why the number of non-filers is so small, right? Well, let's take a look and see what the IRS has to say about the topic. Okay, Here we go, folks. I got here a letter, the IRS, the real paper tiger exposed, I call them, okay? I'm gonna, which from Department of Treasury, Internal Revenue Service in Washington, D.C., written September 24th, 1998. I'm gonna go, let's blow up this letter a little bit more. Okay, here it is, folks. This letter was written to Mr. Dwan Abel in Oregon. Dear Mr. Abel, thank you for your letter to Mr. Charles O. Rosati, Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service, dated 1998. We are pleased to provide you with the following information. The good old IRS. He used to give you information that was so useful, you will not find this letter any place else on the internet. Nowhere. I got the only copy out there of this eye-opening letter, my friends, okay? Look at this. Here's what the IRS says. Look at the underlined part in the next paragraph. Based on our 1996 tax filing program, we estimate, they don't know, folks, they're estimating there are approximately, look at that number, folks, 63 million taxpayers who have not filed a tax return and initially would appear to have a legal requirement to file. That means, folks, this is not somebody who made $500 or $5,000. They made like above the minimum fine requirement per IRS's own numbers. Those people who made over $10,000 or $20,000 a year, 63 million non-filers back in 1996, 24 years ago. How old were you back then? 24 years ago, right? So let's get back to it. Now, where do these numbers come from, right? Well, the IRS says this estimate, not a number that they know for sure, it's only an estimate, is based on data available to the service, to the IRS, on the individual master file, IRS's own computer system. Now, check this out, folks. Did you notice the word estimate? They don't even know. They don't know how many non-filers out there, do they? So when you stop filing any income tax, you're thinking, oh no, if I stop filing, they're gonna find out. Dave here stopped filing. That's me. They're gonna say, hey, Dave used to file every year religiously. Stop. Go call him. Go send him a letter. Go to his home. Hey, Dave, go charge him, put him in jail. You're gonna go to jail. They're gonna contact you and put you in jail, right? Is there 63 million non-filers in prison? Only less than 150. The numbers are going down. Very tiny number. Yeah. And there's something else, folks. The IRS doesn't come after you when you don't file 1 year. You gotta don't file and pay income tax for a minimum of 5 years. 5 years before they even thinking about looking at you. When they come after somebody for not filing, you must have not filed for like 8, 9 years before they come after you. So you take this 63 billion number, by the way, in 1996 non-filers. By the way, with population growth, now the best estimate we have is there's about 80 million non-filers. 80 million. And according to the IRS, less than 150 million tax returns are filed every year. You can look it up. So that means, folks, out of every 3 Americans that work, 2 file a 1040 income tax confession form, and 1 does not. You go walk the street, talk to people that they made some money. 1 out of 3 did not file a 1040 income tax confession form, and you don't know. They're saying, I hope nobody finds out. I hope nobody looks at me because I haven't filed for 2 years or 5 years. And I don't know if the IRS is going to come after me. I'm scared, don't know what to do, but, you know, So if you multiply that, that's where you get that your chance of being hit by lightning are more. Then you go to prison for not having filed and paid income tax. So that's number one. You got that? Do not file those confession forms. Now I'm going to tell you something else, folks. IRS has been spying on me since 1993. At 1993, before I even found the Freedom Law School, folks, they had me under criminal investigation for 22 months before they found out there's nothing on me to get. Right? And I've been since then under criminal investigation and parallel investigation. They watch my videos to spy on me, see what they can get me, and they can't. Because everything I do is First Amendment free speech, political and legal speech combined. Completely hardcore First Amendment. And I tell you, do not believe them, do not believe the government, anybody on the internet, or even me. I show you the law. You read the law like I will show you. Read it for yourself. And follow the law as it's written. I'll give it to you. And as upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court. That's it. We all should do that, right? Well, let's go, and I'll show you no law requires you, my friends, to file and pay income tax, period. Let's go to the presentation. We're going to go, folks. What I do, you can go online, do it yourself. Go look up this U.S. Supreme Court case, Gould versus Gould. G-O-U-L-D space V period space Gould. U.S. Supreme Court. It comes up here. I opened up that court case for you, okay? And here it is, Gould versus Gould, 1917 U.S. Supreme Court case. And here's what it says, folks, in the relevant paragraph. It says, in the interpretation, which means understanding, of statutes, which means laws, levying, which means imposing taxes. In understanding laws that impose taxes, it is the established rule not to extend their provisions, the provisions of tax laws, right? By implication. You cannot extend the tax laws by implying that it's got to be there. You could not do that beyond the clear import of the language used. Unless the law clearly shows what is to be taxed or who's to be taxed, what activities to be taxed, is not taxed. Or to enlarge the operation of the tax laws so as to embrace or include matters or people or activities not specifically pointed out. Got that? There is a well-established rule when it comes to taxes, because if they can take 1% of your money, they can take 99% or 100%. The U.S. Supreme Court has said the power to tax is a power to destroy. So that's what's got to be clearly, specifically laid out. Nothing is left to implying, oh, it's got to be there. We'll come back to why this is important. But before I do, let me show you this also from the court case, okay? Here we go. The last part of this paragraph says, in case of doubt, any doubt, if the law imposes a tax on the person or activity, you're not sure in any way, yeah, maybe it's implied the tax, maybe not. The tax laws, are construed or interpreted, understood most strongly against the government's power to tax and in favor of the citizen not being taxed. Yep. And there's several Supreme Court cases listed after that that uphold this well-established rule of law. Okay, got that? Let's go now to one more U.S. Supreme Court. It's called Meese versus Keene. Look it up. M-E-E-S-E space V period space K-E-E-N-E. You can do it all yourself on your own computer, okay, smartphone, okay? Here comes up the search results, and I got it on my next page, the Supreme Court case, the relevant page of that case, this 1987 case. You get near the end of that case on page 485. What does it say? It is axiomatic. What does axiomatic mean? It means self-evident, obvious. That's all, okay? it is obvious, axiomatic, that the statutory definition of the term, that means something that's defined in statutes or laws, excludes unstated meanings of that term. So what does that mean? That means in law, in a statute or law, if government defines a term, something else that's not there, it's not there. In law, they can define, they say, we're talking about dogs. And they say dog means cat. So when you read the law, every time you read dog, it's not a dog. It doesn't list a dog. It says dog includes cat or dog means cat. That means dog. In the law, for whatever reason, it means cat. That's what the Supreme Court says. Okay, let me get that a little bit, read a little bit more about this for you. Okay, next page says, as judges, it is our duty to construe or understand legislation as it is written. All of our duty to read the law as it is written, not as it might be read by a layman, that means someone like you and me, non-attorney, non-lawyer, or as it might be understood by someone who has not even read it. Yeah. You're going to follow the law as it is written. Folks, get ready, because you're going to have experience cognitive dissonance. I'm going to show the truth, and because you've been lied all your life, you want to reject it. Your mind's going to say, this can't be. No, I see it, but I can't believe it, because you've been lied for your life. When you hear the truth, your brain's going to want to reject it. Watch out, okay? Let's go back, okay? Now, what I'm going to take you now is we're going to look up the laws right now from the website of United States House of Representatives. On the top left, that's the white seal, that's them. On the top center, this is from the Office of Law Revision Council. That's the lawyers of Congress who are publishing the laws, as you can see here, for everybody to follow. The law is written for what purpose? So we can all follow the laws as it is written, right? So this is the lawyers of Congress. Let's follow the law as written. This is a revolution, folks. Until internet got going in 2010 and plus years, you could not find laws on internet like this. You had to go to the law library. It was a big hassle, inconvenience to go to the law library, find the law book, find the right page, pay to photocopy, take it home for future use, and you go back and look up something else that relates to it. It was so difficult. I did that in the 1990s. It's so easy now, okay? Love this, okay? So we're going to go on. They list all the 54 categories of federal law. They list at the bottom of this page. Let's go down. Up to category 26, you see the bottom of the page is on Internal Revenue Code, right? All these areas of law is in there. Agriculture, census, banking. Let's go down. Next, you see there's 54 categories on this page I showed you, okay? Now, we're going to go here, look up these laws now. What you're going to do is, folks, you look up these code, put the code 26 space USC code section space house.gov, and these laws will come up, okay? This is section 61 we did that with. You can find section 601, all right? We did that with section 701 definitions, okay? It says right there, the blue highlighted part. Text contains those laws in effect on February 4, 2020, when I made this presentation, from Title 26 Internal Revenue Code, Procedure Administration, Chapter 79, Definitions. Here it is. And what does it say? 7701. Right at the bottom of the page, let's go read that closer. It says, when used in this title. What is this title? Folks, the title they're talking about is right here. The Internal Revenue Code, the Title 26. This is the whole doggone thing on paper. It's all available online, okay? You can just go, bam, to that particular useful section you want, like I do in my book, okay? And find it and read it for yourself, right? Let's go to it. When users entitled into Revenue Code, they define person, partnership, and partner. Obvious stuff that don't need that definition. describing, but they did give it a specific definition. Look at, they define withholding agent has a specific definition. Husband and wife has a specific definition. All these things have specific definition. Okay, you can go look up these other code sections. I'm showing you on your own. I don't have time to get into it. You can do it on your own for yourself. Okay, and they are and all this stuff. Now, let me go on. I'm gonna go to some other ones. Here we go. This is the big one. United States and state are defined in this section 7701. On the top center, the black writing, that's a code section. Right? When used in the Internal Revenue Code, the term United States, when used in a geographical sense, well, that's the only sense we care about, right? What geography of land mass and people within that land mass it covers, right? It includes only the states and the District of Columbia. Only the states and the tiny 10-mile square District of Columbia. They take the time to mention District of Columbia, but they forgot about California, New York, Texas. Well, what happened? How come they don't mention those? It must be included in the definition of state, right? Those are states, right? Well, let's go take a look together. Here, 7701A10 says the term state shall be construed, which means interpreted or mean, to include the District of Columbia, where such construction or understanding is necessary to carry out the provisions of this title. And you better believe it. We need to know this definition to construe and understand this law and for properly carry out the provisions of the Internal Revenue Code, the tax laws. Of course, that's what it is. Look at it, folks. I'm not making it up. You can go look it up for yourself. And you thought this Internal Revenue Code applied to the United States, meaning the 50 states, right? And you're thinking, well, of course it must be because, I work at a job. They have me fill out a W-4 form. They take money out of my paycheck. They send the W-2 form to the IRS. I'm an independent contractor, business owner. People send 1099s about what they paid me to the IRS. Of course, United States must mean the 50 states. But remember, folks, I got to take you back, folks, because you tend to forget. You could not read in the law beyond what it actually says, right? Let's go back, right? What did the Supreme Court say? In Meese versus Keene, it is axiomatic, obvious, self-evident that the statutory, like we just read, definition of a term excludes unstated meanings of that term. The 50 states is not stated, is not there, right? And if you go to the next paragraph, the court continues and reminds you as judges and American people, as citizens, it is all of our duty to understand or construe legislation or laws as it is written. Remember that, as it is written, right? So, this is important for you to remember this stuff, because you want to forget about it and you're thinking, oh, the 50 states are implied, must be in there. That's why everybody's doing that, right? Well, remember Gould versus Gould U.S. Supreme Court case that said in interpretation of statutes levying, imposing taxes, it is established rule not to extend their provision of tax laws by implication beyond the clear import of the language used, or to enlarge the operation of the tax laws to embrace or include matters like the word 50 states not specifically pointed out or listed. right? And remember the last part. If you have any doubt about this, what does the U.S. Supreme Court says? In case of doubt, these tax laws are construed or interpreted most strongly against the government and in favor of the citizen not to be taxed. Bam! End of story, closed case. Isn't it? Well, guess what, folks? I'm going to take you one step further about this as well. I'm going to give you just one example that Congress, when it wants to use the term 50 states, it can and does do that. Yes, they do not forget about the 50 states. Okay? Okay, here it is, folks. I got on your screen right now for you. You can see our Internal Code section 4612. Look at the top right, the black writing section 4612, right? You know, black writing numbers on the top right center area. Okay. This is from Title 26, as it says left of that. Title 26, Subtitle D, Chapter 38, Subchapter A, tax on petroleum. Because what it says, definitions. For the purposes of this particular subchapter, folks, they define crude oil, for example, to include crude oil, condensates, and natural gasoline. They define next domestic crude oil and petroleum product, for example, is the term petroleum product includes crude oil. I mean, come on. Do they have to define petroleum product includes oil? Well, I guess they want to make sure everything is specifically and clearly understood, right? They define even the most obvious things. That petroleum product includes oil, right? I mean, where do you get petroleum product? From oil. They even list the most obvious stuff, don't they? Now look at the next part. They define United States. In general, the term United States means the 50 states. Wow, look at that. The 50 states. Okay. The District of Columbia is also mentioned specifically, but look at this. They even add more territories of the United States that did not bother to list previously either. The Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, any possession of the United States, the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands, and the Trust Territory of the Pacific Islands. Specifically listed. So, this is proof for you folks, no doubt, that when it comes to tax laws, folks, the entire Internal Revenue Code, folks, is written not for, can I change my screen? I can change my screen. You can do it for me. It's not written, folks, for the American people in the 50 states. It was written for Washington, D.C. Now, okay? So, and the reason this was done, it's a long story. I don't have time to get into it. You got to go. I'll show you where to get more information. I'm out of time almost. I'm going to give you a few quick good stuff, okay? Let's go to my screen, okay? We're going to go to Freedom Law School's website, folks, okay? Here it is. What you want to do, first of all, for those who worry about go to jail, folks, if you go under course packages, okay, there's double click on course packages, and it'll come up, okay? As far as people saying, hey, Peymon, I don't care what you're saying. I'm still afraid. I don't want to go to jail. Listen, if you do follow the educational part of Freedom Law School, if you write letters to Congressman like, I want you to write to Congressman, okay, about these laws, send this up to Congressman. I'll help you do it for you. If you follow the protocol, or like I showed you to Congress, if you do that, you can be part of the program Freedom Law School has that I will pay for your defense out of your lawyers, paralegals, filing fees, court of appeal, everything, hundreds of thousands, I'll pay to defend you and keep out of jail. What does it take? People like you, all of you come together. All of you believe in taxation is theft, join together in this program. I got two programs, two choices for you. Okay? I'm going to show it to you right now. Here, the two top programs called the Royal Freedom Package and the Simple Freedom Package. Click on them, get more details. It's all there for you. If I have time this weekend, I'll tell you more about all this stuff. They both offer that. The Royal Freedom Package does everything for you. Simple Freedom Package, the package does less for you. Okay, so you have always choices on what to do with with Freedom Law School. Because education is number one. Number two is action. It's called informed action. You cannot go out there wet, and you're gonna understand this stuff. So that's why, folks, I've done this education material on our website. If you go to Freedom Law School's website, folks, again under course packages, everybody can afford right here a practical road to freedom level 1 course, which I've taught since 1994, and then quick start freedom package and beginner's freedom package, which includes more material and some consultation, folks. These are very, very affordable, okay? And let me tell you something, folks. All freedom courses packages, they're not about money. I'll let anybody come up with a payment program, and I'll work with you. It's not about the money at all. Yes, we all got to have money to make things work, but you want to start from small packages. That's all you can afford. If you make minimum wage, work at McDonald's, work at Walmart, okay, or disabled the Social Security, I got a program you can afford. $300. I'll let you put $100 down and make payments. $100 down. That's all. The bigger program, again, I'll let you put a lot less and make payments on everything. So money is not the issue. The issue, folks, is freedom. You be free. I be free. I cannot be free the way I want to be unless I help you become free. Unless I convince you, persuade you, and help you understand that you, my friend, and everybody else watching this program, all of you, you need to join hands together like the founding fathers of America, who gave up everything they owned and have. Their homes were burned, they were shot at, they lost their arms, kidney, wives, children were killed, or themselves. They gave it all for freedom. There's a price to be paid for freedom, folks. I'm going to give you more tools, then I'll come back on how to make this work while us coming together, okay? Let's go to our website. What you want to do, folks, is see on the education materials, go to each of these links, eye-opening education, go through that in more detail, income tax reward, educate Congress. You want how to stop income tax withholding? How you want to stop the money being not taken out of your paycheck, folks, automatically? You can do that. I have this here. I got presentations on this topic. Look, all these presentations I got here on the topic, how to do that, okay? And I'll show you how to write to Congress about it and write to your employer to stop the withholding. And look, here's sample letters here for you. Bam! Just fill in the blank. Write letters to all three of your congressmen, okay? And all the links in here are hyperlinked. All the blue, the laws are hyperlinked. And you can have a separate list of all these laws. Bam! Here it is. Check it all out. You can, all of it will be included in your letters to congressmen. And then you write to your employer about the laws. And what you do, you tell the employer, hey, Mr. Employer, follow the law as written. I wrote my congressman. They didn't say I was wrong. I'm right. You want to go to jail? You know, do what? Let's follow the law as written by Congress. It's there. That's what you want to do. Now, further, the other source you want to go to is Freedom Law School's YouTube channel. And then when you get there is this, folks, okay? Go to on the top of our website, livefreedom.org, to the Freedom Hour. Click on the Freedom Hour, okay? And that is our weekly Freedom Hour once a week, Thursday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Time Zone, live broadcast on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook. Yes, on YouTube, okay? And you can ask questions of me also, okay? So you go to our YouTube, you click on YouTube right here, click on that. But we go on BitChute as well before YouTube cuts us off one of these days for censorship, right? Here it is, folks. You go straight to our videos. Here's the most recent ones I've done. Start with the most recent ones and go back to January 2020 forward. Those are the best ones that I got on there, okay? So watch these videos. My two favorite ones, the one I did just, this last May 14, 2020, right here with the law books behind me. You see that right there? Another one of my favorites recently, which I think you really like, is you go down, is the one that says, who is required to file income tax? Right, okay, right here, see that? I'm going to bring it up for you to see this one. And these are all recorded for
used in this title.
There it is. This is the one that was done on Stream Live on April 9th, 2020, right? That's one of my favorites. I encourage you to watch, okay? Another good one is, are you a United States citizen, okay? Who is required to file income tax? There it is.
Well, they didn't say.
Here it is. This was done on Stream Live on March 12th, 2020, okay? Now, one of my favorites, people say, oh, I'm going to go to jail. No, you're not. This one, why did Wesley Snipes and Irwin Schiff go to jail, right? People say about, oh, Wesley Snipes went to jail. Well, because he messed up. He did a bunch of stupid stuff.
12 million.
What happened? Okay? Why did Wesley Snipes and Irwin Schiff go to jail for taxes? How can you avoid the same fate? It was streamed live on March 5th, 2020, okay? So, folks, watch this stuff, okay? And take your time. Take your time to educate yourself. I just gave you so much, and your mind has a hard time accepting all of it. Take your time to accept it. Take your time to absorb it. Study. Let me tell you this, my friends. They are not as powerful as they think they are. IRS is collapsing like the former communist Soviet Union. If you don't believe me on that, I will show that to you also. One more thing I'm going to show you, okay? Let's go. Okay, let's go to our website again at livefreenow.org, okay? And go to the eye-opening education. And when you go there, you scroll down, folks. I got some videos. You scroll down further. Here it is, okay? Watch these two videos below to see how the IRS is collapsing under its own weight. These two videos are on YouTube also. I showed you. These will give you the confidence. The IRS is not a big, powerful, all-knowing, all-seeing God that's going to get you. Because they're not. You have a lot more power, my friends. You just didn't know that until I showed it to you. This Jewish immigrant from Iran, okay, that came to land the free, home the brave. Now, here's the reality, folks. They're using your emotions against you. Your fear, they use it against you. They use fear as their number one tool to control you. Don't let them have that. They have lots of money. And with that money, they got power. They buy people with guns, right? That's what's going on out there, folks. They use fear to get money and power. Okay? Oh, I was told next speaker I got canceled. I got more time. Well, I guess I'll have to just continue, but I'm going to finish this part. Then I go continue to tell you guys more. Okay. Well, that's great for you guys, for those who are interested. What you got on your hand, folks, remember, they got fear, lots of money, and power of the gun. But remember this, folks, I'm 57 years old. I learned about income tax when I was 29 years old. I remember in the 1960s and 70s, the former communist Soviet Union in America, East and West were like this. For the biggest empire, biggest country in the whole world, could destroy America with all the nuclear weapons they got. What happened to that communist, powerful state? It literally collapsed under its own weight of bureaucracy. Folks, it's not natural for these huge institutions to exist. The people that work for government, these monopolies, hate their jobs. They hate their bosses. The good people leave. The dead would stay. You could not fire government employees. Yes, I said it. It's true. You could not fire them practically, because to fire government employees, you know, the government by law in 1960, Johnson made a deal with government unions to get their support. Okay, that another government worker will be relieved of his job, will become full-time worker to defend you as an employee of the government to be fired, to go through administrative hearings like a trial, literally, within the agency that you can appeal to the courts before you get fired. Seriously. So if the wasteful, monopolistic, lazy government bureaucracy manager wants to get rid of this drunken employee, druggy, incompetent, stupid, bad attitude, angry, just messes things up, nobody likes, terrible. They have to go through this process to try to get rid of the guy. So they don't. The deadwood there, sitting like that guy, just collects a paycheck. It's about the money. He gets the same paycheck, same retirement, same 4 weeks paid vacation. Yes, government employees after many years, they got 4 weeks of paid vacation on your money. They can't get rid of these guys. And so these deadwood stay, and good people, they leave. And over time, the deadwood stays, and the good ones leave. And folks, you're going to find this amazing. But IRS is running on COBOL computer programs. Some of you may not know what COBOL is. Let me tell you what a COBOL is. Back in 1980, I took my first community college class in California on computers. I was told there was 3 main programs. COBOL, Fortran Basic. Fortran was for scientific. COBOL is for big institutions, government and big banks and insurance companies. That's right. That was a big program on COBOL. And guess what? They never updated their computers. Back in the late 80s, calls were made. Hey, IRS, update your doggone computers. Well, as you know, typical of politicians and bureaucrats, these government people who are incompetent, they just kick the can down the road. Oh, we'll get to it later. Later and later and later. Right? And then about 7 years ago, they started attacking conservative political groups under Obama, not giving them non-profit tax exempt status. And the Republicans gave IRS no more money. They cut their budget. In 1999, they started collection due process hearing. It was hearings on IRS abuse of power. 1997, I'm sorry. In 1998, they gave some taxpayer rights like hearings before they take your money, and the IRS lost a sale. IRS employees said, screw it, man. We used to take people's cars by violence. They used to take people's cars and property by violence, cars, back in the 60s and 70s. Okay? I got a book on that from Congressman George Hansen right here, who wrote about that in 1985. But IRS said, forget it. We could be sued up to $1 million, from $100,000. And these hearings, we're just going to go along and just collect our paycheck. And now, folks, the IRS, almost 50% of the employees of the IRS, almost 50% of them, are eligible for retirement a year ago. Yes, over a year ago. So a few older guys that got in their 65 and 70-year-old guys that know COBOL, how to run this antiquated COBOL mainframe computers in Ogden, Utah. IRS has, that's the biggest IRS office in Ogden, Utah. Right? IRS is now hook and crook. Keeping these guys, that's okay. 70-year-old man, just hang in there as advisor to keep the doggone thing going. We have nobody else. They're not teaching COBOL in universities and colleges anymore for decades. They're not even teaching it for decades, COBOL. So if they don't understand, nobody knows this computer program in the old years, and they've been generations of computer development technology, there's no way you can merge 2020 technology with 1970s technology COBOL. They just can't do it. So IRS made a strategic decision to leave non-filers alone a few years ago. Yes, I'll talk about that in my presentations. A strategic decision. Why? So according to the IRS, it's easier to pick on a filer and collect because filers, you know, they just, you pay every year, they take from you. Non-filers, once you become a non-filer, you're going to stay a non-filer. Because once you taste freedom from slavery, you like it, my friends. And you'll say, hey, this is nice. Let's be free and remain free. Of the most feared agency in America, it's really Satan, otherwise known as IRS. You lose your fear of these guys and stop filing and paying income tax. And IRS says once by the time they catch up with you, oftentimes it's maybe 5 years, 8 years past. Now you owe the IRS, even if they successfully come after you and beat you. Okay, you owe them so much money, $200,000, $1 million. Well, you spent the money that you didn't pay income tax to the thieves. The money's not there to pay them. IRS says, well, we can't collect the money anyhow. So what's the point? All this work and try to collect money that is not there. But filers, you just keep on top of them. You file every year and clear up your account every year. They stay on top of you. It's easy to pick on your return. Non-filers, they have to make a case against you. Yes, they have to make a case against you. It's much harder as much harder as a non-filer for them to come after you. So you see what we have on our side. They got fear, money, and power. We have the truth, right? We have the truth. We have the laws as written by Congress and as upheld by U.S. Supreme Court. We have the love of truth. See, you don't become a freedom lover based upon fear. Fear keeps you from moving forward because fear is the opposite of love. It's not hate, opposite of love. It's fear. Fear stops you. Love of truth, love of goodness, of humanity propels you forward to hold someone's hand, shake the hand, give them a hug, do a loving act towards them, say nice things to them, right? That's love that propels you forward. Fear stops you. I'm afraid of this guy. I'm worried what he might do to me. We have the love of freedom on our side. Love of truth. And you know what? Real power is also in our hands. Real power. They got the power because they got lots of government employees they pay. And they say, you don't do what we tell you, we'll fire you. Right? That's what they do. You heard about this SWAT team member in Washington, Seattle. His name is Greg. On YouTube came out that he said, hey, why are they enforcing all these tyrannical orders in these cops? I cannot understand it. This is wrong. They got to follow the Constitution. You know, you cannot suspend the Constitution and violate people's rights. Well, he got a lot of hits on YouTube. His boss liked it, but his boss told him, you got to shut up and take the video down. And they threatened him. He says, I'm not bending down. They said, we're going to put you on leave, 1 week of paid vacation or 2. Just think about it before we fire your butt. Because he's about, how am I going to make a living? My paycheck is gone. He's worried. He's a courageous man. But most government people, folks, they're not as courageous like Greg. They're staying at their jobs because that's the only way they know how to make a living. Most people get a government job not because they love being a government worker, because they had no other way to start their own business or get a regular job in the private sector. And it was just a living paycheck. So the doers are told to violate your rights, not because they want to. A lot of times they know. They know what they're doing is wrong. They don't want to lose their job. They're not motivated. Okay? And so, folks, and these men and women in government are our brothers and sisters. Many of them who do this at some point, they can turn around and look at the commander and say, no, I'm not going to do this. And the other guy's been talking to him about this stuff. They will follow this guy and say, no, we're not going to do this. If that day comes, folks, the entire system will collapse, the government corruption. They're afraid of that. They can't do that. But guess what? The system will collapse. The Soviet Union, I saw with my eyes in late 80s, it collapsed of its own weight. That empire collapsed. It broke up in multiple countries. Russia was in a great economic depression. And it was not put together finally until Putin, came in and saved that country. Okay? That's why he's a bad guy. Because he's not an agent of international banksters who own the money and the banks of the Western world. This system will collapse. America, sadly, is the new socialist republic. They use the same tactics as they used in the Soviet Union. Well, you know what? We have in America a thing called the First Amendment right to free speech, association, press, assemble. We're assembling together right now through this presentation. And redress of our grievance. We have a right to write to Congress, our representative, and ask them, demand, in fact, that they live by the oath to uphold and defend the U.S. Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic, right here. Yes, the Obamas, the Bushes, the Clintons, the Romneys, the McCains, you know them all. And the corrupt management of IRS, CIA, FBI, NSA, U.S. Department of Injustice, and last but not least, double crooked federal judges who will knowingly get together and conspire. These unelected people who do not represent you, the American people, they get together and change the written language, meaning and intent of the U.S. Constitution, the Supreme Court decision of 100 years ago, and the law as written by Congress. But don't you be afraid of them, folks. I'm not. And neither should you. You don't need to be. Folks, let me tell you, I'm a huge target of the IRS. Don't you think so? You're going to hear from Joe Bannister, how he was a target of my student, former IRS special agent. You'll hear him from this, I think it's 8 o'clock Eastern tonight. How they came after him. He hasn't filed income tax for over 20 years. Is that 20 years? They tried to put him in jail, but not for income taxes. They lost. I was there in his trial. They never come after him, but he hasn't filed income tax. He was a big target. The Commissioner of Internal Revenue spoke about him personally when they want to put him in trial. Yeah. They do about 3,000 cases a year. The commissioner, head of the IRS, never talks about any criminal tax case. That's below him. He spoke about Joe Bannister. That's how much a threat he was to the system. And I'm a big threat because they don't like the fact that I'm educating you. But you know what? They can't stop us, folks. First Amendment. Before we go to the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Before we use up arms, I believe in the Second Amendment. We have a right to have a defensive, violent revolution like the Founding Fathers did back in the 1700s to declare independence from the tyrannical King of England, who broke his oath to defend the Englishman's rights. We have that right now. However, I recommend you keep your powder dry. Second Amendment was there because you should exercise first your First Amendment rights, like we're doing. Okay? Now, since I got time, I'm going to go over another area, which is the Fifth Amendment, the right to due process of law. Right to due process of law is a critical difference of America from other countries in the world. Okay? And it's very little bit understood in the movement in America. What is the due process of law? Well, I'll tell you what that is. People are afraid that if you don't pay your taxes, they're going to come take your stuff. Right? Take it home. Empty your bank account. Right? Take your paycheck. Just like that. Right? If I don't file income tax returns, they'll come take my paycheck, bank account, empty it out. Take my house. That's the second worry you all have, right? Well, I'll tell you what, my friends. You don't need to worry. If you exercise your right to due process of law guaranteed by the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. What is that? In other countries in the world, for us, in African countries, communist countries, most of the world, the policeman, the executive branch officer can come and just take your car, take you home, put you in jail. Folks, where I came from Iran, folks, in 1960s and 70s, Shah of Iran, the king of Iran, who was a CIA puppet, by the way, installed by the CIA to get rid of the democratic elected government of Iran for the benefit of the oil companies. Shah and his agents could have any time kidnapped you in the middle of the night anywhere, put you in a jail, prison, torture you, keep you there for days, months. No one knows about you. Your parents, wives, husbands are not notified. No family member notified. They might give you summary trial, may not. Execute you, yeah, maybe. Give you these long sentences for daring to speak against the king or Shah of Iran. Folks, much of the world, the governments do have that kind of power. In Germany right now, you speak against the Holocaust, for example, or just criticize World War II, the Allies. You can go to prison for anti-Semitic stuff. I'm anti this nonsense they do in Germany. Just shut down free speech. Okay? They don't have free speech in much of Europe even. So government can come take your stuff like you're afraid of. But America's different. In America, before a government agent or police officer can take your stuff, they are supposed to give you the opportunity to challenge the government taking action against you, taking your property, taking your bank account, even the IRS. Even the IRS. So, and all these accountants, bookkeepers, CPAs, enrolled agents that do your tax returns for you, they're all worthless. They know nothing about tax law, nothing. All they know is to be a whore for the IRS, fill out the forms, and then put you through endless audits because they make money off of IRS harassing you. It's like the medical establishment, the drug companies, hospitals, the doctors make money off of being sick. Okay, they make money off of you being sick. The more sick you are, the more money they make. The doctors, hospitals, and drug companies. Same with accountants and bookkeepers. Tax lawyers are very expensive. They know about the law, some of them to some degree, not like me. They do, but they're very expensive and they're very few. And they're always keeping the system as a slave, even if you can't afford them, which you can't. I know more about tax law, about freedom law, than tax attorneys in the whole country. The top tax lawyers, but I'm not an attorney, by the way. I'm not a member of the bar. I'm a freedom-finding self-taught. But the top lawyers in the freedom movement, like Larry B. Kraft, okay, Donald McPherson, these other guys, the other guys, they call me to teach them about IRS procedures and how to beat the IRS. I teach them how to do that stuff. but as a non-filer especially. Okay, so what you do, but could someone put the air, make it cooler here? It's a little hot in here, guys. Okay, what you don't know is that these audits are nonsense. Do not put up with any audits. Don't ever respond to any audit letter except saying, do not write me, do not call me, do not visit my home or work. Send me a letter. That's it. If you want something, put it in writing. Send me, ready? A notice of deficiency if you want something from me, or put it in writing. If they want to come after you, the IRS must send you by law a letter called the Notice of Deficiency. It's a formal tax proposal to you, proposing a tax, which gives you 90 days, not 3 months, 90 days to challenge that tax proposal in the court, tax court. And if you lose there, you can go to Federal Court of Appeal. And then we're not done. This process of getting a notice of deficiency in the mail and then go to tax court and Court of Appeal will take 2 to 3 years or more. Yes, 2 or 3 years or more by the time you're done. If you exercise your rights like Freedom Law School does and shows you and helps you and can do it for you if you like. Even if you were to lose, well, the Freedom Law School wins most often, but if you lose, guess what? You can still challenge them at another stage called the collection due process hearing. Or if they don't get you that notice of deficiency, which they're supposed to, but they sometimes don't do it, okay? You can go and challenge them at the collection due process hearing stage with the IRS Appeals Office before they take your bank account or paycheck or any of your money. Yes. They have to send a letter to you, give you 30 days to ask for a hearing, and when you do it timely, guess what? No collection activity at all. You're safe. Then you get a hearing before IRS Appeals Officer, which if they rule against you, you can take that up to the U.S. Tax Court. If the tax court also rules against you, you can go to the Federal Court of Appeal, one level up again. This process also will take 2 to 3 years minimum or more. Yes. So, as a non-filer, if you don't file income tax and be good with Freedom Law School by following the law as written, folks, I can guarantee the IRS will not touch $1, not $1 from your pocket for a minimum of 6 years, minimum, worst case scenario. A lot of time we beat them. A lot of time the IRS just leaves you alone. Guess what? 6 years minimum. Don't have to worry about the IRS taking anything from you because your right to due process of law, the steps are provided in law for you to challenge the government's tax proposals, IRS's tax numbers, before they can take your money. It will take years. And during that time that you are lawfully, by following the law, challenging them, you are completely safe. Okay? I'll give you an example of that. I'll give you my own case, for example. Okay, let's go to my screen, okay? Let's go to Freedom Law School's website, livefreedom.org, and I'm going to show you a little example about what I mean. If you go on the top right of livefreedom.org, our website, under our victories, FLS Victories is Freedom Law School Victories, okay? You open that tab, FLS Victories, folks, okay? And you see some of my victories that I got against the IRS. The third one is the one I'm going to share with you, okay? I beat the IRS in its own $700,000 case. If you go to the right side, the plus side, open it up, you open up this thing, and you will see more detail about this. Let me tell you what it was about before I continue on here, okay? What happened here, an IRS agent was after me. Okay. Here's what happened. I'll give you a little storyteller. You might like it. Okay. Looks back in 1993 when I was new. Okay. and I want to get a little bit of withholding money back. My friend had me do a tax return as a 1040 NR as a non-resident alien, as a California state citizen, and to get my money back, $600. That was a lot of money to me back in 1993. So that did his thing, didn't work. A lot of patron mythologies out there, by the way. A lot of misinformation out there. And so I did that. The IRS came after me for 1992 that I filed, and 93 and 94, all 3 years. Went to tax court. And the IRS's case was basically bogus. Okay? However, the judge, the tax court judge, Smallwood was his name, because he saw that I teach people about income tax fraud, they hated income tax. He actually said that on the record. He had an agenda to get me. So he ruled against me. He ignored the law, rules of evidence, everything. He ignored it, he ignored the facts. The judges can do that, folks. They can ignore the law and facts. Okay? It ruled against me. Court of Appeal, I brought up everything the judge did wrong. They ignored me and ruled against me. And now with a short railroad rubber stamp, 2-page railroad quick decision, unpublished decision. That case was in the collection. I was never collected a dollar from that case. Never. The whole thing expired, by the way. But that to get me and silence me. So the agent comes to my door. One day I'm not there. And he comes and files for 11 years. 11, 10 plus 1 of taxes, employment taxes against me. 5 tax liens in the county recorder's office against me. And I'll contact him, meet with him as manager. I say, hey, what is this based upon? Where do you get this stuff? You know? So I get a copy of it. They don't, you know, it's based upon nonsense. You know what it was based upon? When I found out? This guy was at my door, my property. I was not there because there was 5 cars parked outside of my house that were not. He ran the license plate of all these 5 cars. And because these cars were not owned by any of my relatives that he knew of, he assumed that those were 5 cars parked outside my house must belong to my employees. Not for that one day, 1 week, a month, or a year. For 11 years, he went back, assumed I had 5 employees. Paid them a minimum wage, did not withhold employment Social Security taxes, which is another fraud, by the way. I'll cover that on my YouTube channel. You see that on Social Security tax as well. So I met with him. I said, you cannot do this nonsense. This is illegal. Illegal, you can't do this. I got transcript of the meeting I did with him. Well, the agent John Black and his manager said, nope. We are presumed to be right. You have to show us we're wrong, but you file under oath tax return and correct us. Most people would fall for that intimidation. This was in 2009 and 10 now, I'm talking about. I told them, no. You don't get to do that. This is nonsense. So when they sent me a collection due process hearing letter, at that time, I challenged it, asked for hearing, and the hearing officer I had with the IRS appeals officer told me, oh, Peymon, you cannot challenge the tax. I'm just here to discuss payment arrangements with you. I told him, no, lady, you're wrong. I never had a chance to challenge the tax. Oh, yes, you did, she says. Well, the agent, John Black, and his manager. I said, that doesn't count. They're the same people who came after me. Same person. They're biased. By law, it's got to be an independent third person like you who's supposed to give me the hearing, lady, and let me challenge the tax, which I never had a chance. There was no notice of deficiency with employment tax cases. there's no notice deficiency. They file a lien and then you got to pay usually to, challenge it. But here was my first chance. I challenged it. She said, no, sorry, Peymon, you lose. Rule against me. So I took it to tax court. Appeal that decision to tax court, U.S. tax court. With a lawyer and it was a guy named Sebastian Voth, a decent man, which I later on in another tax case got to know him fairly well. And so Sebastian Voth said, hey, the Peymon was denied a hearing. I'm going to send this case back to the IRS to give him a new hearing. He on his own, without me saying anything, right? He sent it back down. I was going to argue that and win anyhow to get a real hearing. But he did it for me. So the case went back down to another new IRS agent. And the new IRS appeals officer was a decent man. In fact, what was his name? I got to get the copy. I forgot. He was a good man, too. They're good people in the IRS sometimes. His name was Robeson. Yes, Agent Robeson, RBSON. A decent man. I mean, compared to many judges, the lawyer and IRS agent were more decent than some crooked judges I've come across. Okay, so he agreed that, yeah, Peymon, you should be able to challenge the tax. And why did he allow me to challenge the tax? Because I taught them a lesson. I slapped over that IRS appeals officer before him, which said you cannot challenge the tax. I went up and came back. He said, hey, this guy's intelligent. This guy knows his stuff. I better not screw up a second time. I don't want to look bad. I'll give him a chance. Let's see where it goes, right? Go ahead. Because our own lawyer said our last IRS appeals officer was wrong. So I'm going to give you a chance to challenge the tax. He did. I talked to him, wrote him a letter. He took a few months to read my a letter with the legal citations, legal authorities, court cases in it, and ruled in my favor. Zeroed out the entire 11 years of taxes, about $700,000. Then the tax court judge approved it, put a seal of approval. He had to. The court retained jurisdiction. The judge had to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to show you our website, this stuff to see. See, look at this. In December 2009, the case started, okay, with the $700,000 to December 2009, okay? Now what happened is that I challenged them, and then what happened is in November 2011, about 2 years later, finally IRS issued a supplemental notice of determination, okay, and ruled in my favor. See, it takes time for them to go through these things. Here's the language of that. And if you want to see a documentation, here it is. Copy attached. You open that link in a new tab, which I already done for you. There it is. Here's a letter. You can do this too, folks. You can win. Here it is, November 2011 to the Mottahedeh Peymon from W. Robson. On the bottom right, look at the tax periods, all these tax quarters from March 1997 on the right side, all the way down to December 2008 at the bottom. All the stuff, okay? You can scroll down, read the whole thing for yourself, how it ruled in my favor, right? Okay, what does it say? It has been determined that the tax assessment should be abated, which means removed. And the notice of federal tax lien should be withdrawn. Signed by his manager, Mary Nicholas, appeals team manager. CC, carbon copy with your IRS Associate Area Counsel. Of course, the lawyer of the IRS read my stuff. He knew I was right. This was approved by government's lawyers. Because they want to get me, they couldn't get me. They reversed it. Now I get to talk about it and embarrass the IRS that they couldn't get the number one enemy they got in America, Freedom Law School. Folks, you can have the same kind of success that I've had if you exercise your right to due process of law. His liens were removed. And if you follow the law and do it right, I don't care what they try to do, how long, you can beat them. I'll give you another victory of my own case because we got time. Give you another example, okay? Here it is. Victory number 2, Freedom Law School beats IRS bogus claim of being an abusive tax shelter, okay? Okay, folks, I'm doing this just to show you, I just want to show you that you have rights. They cannot just come take your stuff. But you got to know about your rights and your procedural due process rights. That Freedom Law School teaches to our students like you, if you choose to be a student of Freedom Law School. I'll teach you. And if you want to become one of our students, like the Royal Freedom Package member, I will do it all for you at no extra charge with a flat annual fixed membership fee that's affordable. You'd be amazed how affordable it is. We'll get to that later, okay? But let me just give you some examples so you can feel that you're not just a victim. You're not weak, folks. You're strong. You have a lot more power than you realize, my friend. If I could do it, this immigrant from Iran, who English is my second language, you, American born, English is your first language, should do better than me even, given time and education. Let's follow along together. So here it is, folks. The IRS has conceded being defended by Freedom Law School. The IRS has admitted that after 13 years of investigating Freedom Law School as an abusive tax shelter promoter, 13 years, folks, they were looking at me as being an abusive tax shelter promoter. The IRS could not find anything to indicate that Freedom Law School is an abusive tax shelter promoter, and they officially closed that investigation. Okay, here's the letter. Open that link in a new tab, okay? The document. Here it is, document, folks. I'm going to zoom in it for you. Here it is. This was by IRS in San Diego, July 11, 2016. That was almost 4 years ago by Roma Patel, okay? Roma Patel. Here's their telephone number. You can call if you want, if she's still there. And what I'm saying, dear Mr. Mottahedeh, right? They're writing to me. We are discontinuing our investigation into whether you are liable for the penalty under all these code sections, which basically all these code sections is one looking at being as an abusive tax shelter promoter to stop me, enjoin me, close me down, put a warning on my website that the court ruled against me. I'm an abusive tax shelter promoter, and give my list of my customers to the IRS to harass. That's what they do, and then fine me like $5,000 per customer. So if I have 1,000 people, fine me $5 million. Yes, $5 million. You know, they say we close it up. Okay. Now look at this language. They say this letter should not be construed to mean that the Internal IRS approves your conduct. Rather, it is simply a notice that our investigation has been discontinued at this time. The IRS is not precluded from taking any additional action against you or others with respect to your conduct. Okay. This includes the commencement of income tax examinations of investors, participants whom you advise or aided. Right, Roma Patel. So, in other words, they're trying to say, look, buddy, just because we left you alone here doesn't mean we're going to leave you alone forever. Don't, right? That's what they say. Like I didn't know, right? And so it took the IRS, I mean, the deep state, this is similar to how they come after outsider President Donald Trump. Now, I know Trump is not a libertarian. I know that. I'm a libertarian. You are. But look, Donald Trump is far better than the communists of that have been running this country, okay? The Bushes, the Clintons, Obamas, Romneys, McCain's, all the crooks. He's an outsider, a billionaire who's trying to make a legacy of himself, getting paid $1 a year by law. He's doing it, you know, so he makes a lot of good and bad decisions too. But, you know, overall it's been refreshing because he's not a known criminal they control. Obama was not American. He's from Kenya. Bushes were a crime family. So are the Clintons. They want compromised people to be president because they can control them. They killed John F. Kennedy because he turned out to be an honest guy. They brought the crooked Johnson vice president who was a crook to take over, cover up John F. Kennedy's death, right? So Trump is relatively a improvement, big improvement, right? They had 3 years looking at him as a agent of Russia, Putin, to interfere with the elections and defeat Hillary Clinton in the election she should have won, right? After 3 years, they finally closed that investigation down. 3 years for them to do that. Of course, the crooked Hillary Clinton, they ignore the FBI, the corrupt U.S. Department of Injustice. They all ignore her serious national security crimes because they got the power to, right? And some judges worked along, helped out, by the way, also. Okay? But Trump, the outside, they got to get. Me, they try to get. Okay? Over 13 years. Now, I'm going to show you how this started. In fact, if you want to look at this, folks, what I have here, okay? If you go, the origin of this investigation was right here. They sent me a letter way back then, the initial investigation. The second paragraph was the initial investigation in 2003, okay? In 2003 was here. The apology wrote, they wrote to me. Here it is, folks. Here's a quote from the letters. You can check it out for yourself, folks. Here's all the link to all the documents. There's the first letter they sent to me from the IRS Laguna Niguel, the big Southern California office, Laguna Niguel. Yep. Check this out, folks. Internal Revenue Service, right? April 16, 2003. And guess what? This letter, if you look, go scroll down written by Frank Nixon. Who is this guy? He's the area director, head of the big Niguel office. Personal signature of Frank Nixon. Okay? He the head guy, honcho, coming after me, right? And they say, dear Mr. Mottahedeh, we have reviewed certain materials with respect to your tax shelter promotions, including but not limited to Freedom Law School and related promotions, right? This is when the whole dog nothing started. After 13 years, they abandoned it. Why? Because even incompetent IRS agents realize that, it's a waste of time. So the thing for you to know is that you cannot just come take your stuff if you stop filing income tax returns. They can't do that. They have to give you due process. The problem has been that, again, TurboTax, whatever computer program you use to file a tax 1040 confession tax form you file, and your bookkeeper, enrolled agent, CPA, tax preparer are worthless to defend you in your rights. They don't know how to help you. You fill out this form claiming you understand this puppy, and you don't understand the Internal Revenue Code at all, what you're signing. You put the rope around your neck, put on the ledge, along with about 140 million plus Americans, and you wait for the IRS to go through the ledge and say, let's pick on Dave here, let's pick on Jane there, on Steve there, on Robert there, or you, for tax evasion, material misstatement of facts. By the way, the penalty for going to prison for filing tax returns are much more heavy and stiffer, longer prison sentences than simply not filing. Not filing simply alone is 1 year for every year you didn't file. 1 year. Filers, you got tax evasion, 5 years because your 1040 was incorrect or incomplete. For making what they consider to be a material misstatement of a fact on your 1040 confession form, 3 more years added. So for filer, you are right there up to 8 years. Yeah. Now, you add a couple more years, which you always do, along with your accountant or whoever else. Now we got conspiracy to rip off the government. And another felony 5 years added to that. That's why Judge Krupa pled guilty. Well, risk go to prison the rest of her life. She just said, forget it. I'm gonna do my 2.5 years. Oh well, come out. Non-felon, you can be free. I can help you, my friends. Be free. Don't pay your thieves. Don't pay these thieves, your enemies, anything to destroy you. Isn't that the most ridiculous thing, folks? That we as American people have been enslaved, deceived, and enslaved. We are paying our enemies in the deep state U.S. government to destroy us. You're paying the CIA's paycheck, the NSA's paycheck, the FBI's paycheck, the crooked U.S. Department of Injustice lawyer crooks, and the double crooked judges who conspire with the government lawyers, these lawyers, to change the law and the Constitution to fit their agenda, their communist, socialist agenda of totalitarian control over you as a slave. Is that right? Do you want that? You have no legal, constitutional, conscientious, ethical, or moral duty to pay your enemies, to support your enemies with your money, hard work, to destroy you. None. In fact, the reverse is true. You have every right and duty to stand up for you and your family and your rights and your freedom and your property against these unelected people in the U.S. Department of Injustice, IRS, and the judges. And what the process I'm going to have you guys do is we're going to write to Congress, all of you. I'm right in the middle of developing this stuff as I'm speaking to you. I haven't finished it yet. This is newest development after 28 years of doing this, okay? We'll write this stuff with a copy of what you saw, these laws, sent to your congressman and demanding that these congressmen, your 2 U.S. senators, and your 1 House of Representative member, all of you, demand from congressmen to hold congressional hearings, bring up the top management of all these agencies, in particular for us right now, IRS, Department of Injustice, and federal judges too. Okay? They're not gods. Okay? They're not, these judges in black robe are not gods. And people call them, oh, your honor. Oh, holy judge. Oh, the mighty priest of the system. Oh, judge. And they're not. They're human beings like you and me. And they put the pants up every day just like you and me, wash your hand and wipe the butt every day just like you and me. No different. They're imperfect. Do you remember? In Dred versus Scott, Sanford Supreme Court case, 1850, as a black slave was escaped to the north, the crooked Supreme Court ruled that slave is a chattel, like a cow or a sheep, must be returned to his owner in the South to be a slave. Who did that? Who said that? The crooked U.S. Supreme Court judges of that time. So don't you be afraid of these judges. The Congress, you should write to congressmen, bring them all in. Hey, why are you violating the law as written? The Internal Revenue Code applies, these income tax, so it applies to D.C. Social Security tax also limited to D.C. and a couple of U.S. territories like Puerto Rico. Why are you applying it to people in the 50 states? Who is responsible amongst you? Who is the responsible party who misapplied the law? Oh, you can't, okay, then you, guess what? I'm going to impeach you, which is the accusation, impeaching, to be fired from the job, to be removed. Just like they want to impeach Donald Trump, right? Bill Clinton impeached was an accusation. Then they go to trial before the U.S. Senate, and the U.S. Senate will convict him and they're removed from office. This is a proper, legal, constitutional process for the people in Congress that's supposed to represent us, we, the American people, you, to clean up the government in the executive and judicial branch who are corrupt to the core. Clean up wholesale. Now, I know you're going to say, oh, the congressman don't listen to you, they're going to ignore your letter. Unfortunately, that's a sad observation, but guess what? We're not going to give up. We're going to do it just like the founding fathers of America did. They did it. They petitioned the king to respect the rights of Americans, and the king violated those rights, and it was after those petitions were ignored, then they took up arms, had a violent revolution. Got it? And that's going to be our steps. We got to petition the government for a redress of grievance, which basically what it means, you have a beef with the government, a complaint, tell them. Talk about it. Tell them to correct it. Tell them you see corruption and criminality, tell them, hey, stop it. Hey, congressman, clean up this corruption and criminality in the government. Okay? The only branch of government that represents us is Congress. Besides the president, who represents us all himself, the rest is a bunch of deep state crooks, the judiciary and the executive branch. The Congress has the right and the duty to clean up everybody, impeach and remove all the government workers, including the president, right? So when you do that, now you're exercising your First Amendment right to free speech, press. You assemble with like-minded people like Freedom Law School to do this letter, assemble, right? You're doing your redress of grievance. All this rights matter because of, so you cannot be punished for writing Congress. Yes, you cannot be punished for writing the government about the complaints. In America, that's outlawed. So that's what you do. Now you'll do that. You do the right thing. We're going to make progress that way. Some congressmen will come to our side. Gradually, it'll happen. Just got to keep at it. You must get this information out, folks. Get this presentation to your friends. Okay? And guess what? Tomorrow, another speaker opening comes. Dan promised me if there's another council session comes, he'll put me in so that your friends that you bring in for tomorrow's presentation can hear this stuff. And I can talk to them, educate them also about this stuff. We need to grow, folks. We need to grow. It's your part. I'm doing my part. It's your part now. Get it out there.
Awesome. Awesome.
So then we got to be, I'm almost going to wrap it up, folks. We're almost done. The other thing is that you legally give yourself a protection, legal protection. So you relied upon this before. So you cannot try to put you in jail. If they try to put you in jail, all this will go before the jury. Okay? And last but not least, folks, I got to go to my website, give you these solutions. People have been asking me, Peymon, come on, I want you to really back me up. Can you back me up? Yes, I will back you up, and I'll put money in your pocket too. Okay? $4,000 cash per referral. No W-2, W-4, 1099 forms. Okay? Here it is, folks. Okay? Go under course package of Freedom Law School's website. Okay? When you double click on that, you're going to go down to Royal and Simple Freedom Package. I'm going to go to the Royal Freedom Package only because we don't have time for more, okay? When you get there, folks, this is the only peace of mind insurance in America. The only thing, okay? This is where Freedom Law School will handle any and all situations arising from IRS or state tax agencies with complete civil and, if needed, criminal representation. Okay, the only program like that. I have a monopoly on this. I'm telling you, you will find no one have anything even close to this in America. I have a monopoly. I could charge a hell of a lot more for this, but I don't, because my goal is to make as many of you possible for you to join in this, to join hands together like the founding fathers, put your commitment and money together so we can expand and get our freedoms back. That's what the plan is, okay? So watch this, folks. This program, everything's done for you, is only $8,000 for the first year. That's it. And each year thereafter is only $4,000 for your $4,500 for Californians. That's it. It's about $350, $400 a month. That's it. Okay? Now, And I'll let you start at it if you need with a payment plan with $4,000, $2,000, even $1,000 down payment and make payments. I will let you do that. Why? Because, folks, it's not about the money. It's about freedom, remember? It's about freedom working together. So I'll work with you on that. You're paying full is best because you get the whole package. With payment plan, you get only parts of the program as you pay for, right? But contact Freedom Law School. Our phone numbers on our website at 813-444-4800. We'll talk to you. Call our Freedom Hour. Ask your questions, okay? And so one more thing will get better. What you want to do, folks, is go to our website, okay? And, here we go. And go under course packages to the last one, the Freedom Opportunity Plan. This is where we refer people to Freedom Law School. Here's how you can prosper by promoting truth and freedom. This is your opportunity, my friend. If you believe in this stuff, okay, this is your chance. Here, explain to you more detail. I gotta wrap it up. Basically, you can get $2,000 a year per $2,000 per referral to Freedom Law School. You can get $4,000 per referral right away by getting the simple or royalty package I described above. You know, cash, no W-4, no W-2s, no 1099s. A Priority Bill envelope will come to you with a bunch of $100 bills. Say, thank you, Dave. Thank you, Steve. Keep at it. And all I got to promote Freedom Law School, our YouTube, our presentation on YouTube, our Freedom Hour, our website. Get this stuff out there, folks. Have fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Peymon.
Of truth. Let that love be your guide. You found the truth. You are the neos that will free us from this deception and slavery. Be a neo. Take a step. Take the steps for you to be free. And then work with Freedom Law School and other like-minded Americans, neos like yourself. If America be a free country once again, and no more taxation without representation. Thank you for taking your time to listen to me speak. Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern on Freedom Law School, Freedom Hour on YouTube and Facebook and Periscope.